Hi guys, welcome to We Are Tottenham TV. It's just finished. West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1 at the London Stadium. I'm here with Amir. We're going to start at the end, believe it or not, because it was a mad last minute of the game where West Ham had a chance to break through on Spurs, and we nicked it off them and had a proper transition. What looked to me like 4-on-3. Kulusevski's got the ball, and he's tried to play the ball long over the top of the three defenders, and it's flicked off a defender, and as a result, West Ham have had a gilt-edged chance to win that game. And it reminds me, actually, of the Stalteri last-second goal, Spurs against West Ham at the old Berlin ground. Yeah. Madness. Amir, how do you feel?
Do you know what? I'm just feeling a bit deflated after that one, because you can see that in the gameplay, we're so much better than West Ham on the ball. We just didn't manage to convert that into goals today, and you know, conceding the way we did as well, it's infuriating. I really feel that these are the kind of games that we should be coming home with 3 points from. Having said that, it's a point away from home at West Ham. I can't be too down and disheartened. I still think there's a lot of work to do.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it from the start. West Ham are an embarrassment of a team. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. I get why West Ham fans are so disappointed. Like, sure, tonight they'll be happy with a point. Of course they will. Yeah. But we absolutely dominated them, and all they've literally got is 11 men behind the ball, right? And then score from a corner. And yeah, they put us under loads of pressure because they were purposely just trying to win corners. And I see why they do it. But I can also totally see why West Ham fans are so devastated by the way that their teams play. But on the flip side of that, I'd say, and this is not a West Ham channel, so this is the last I'll say. On the flip side, I'd say, be careful what you wish for as well, because they may try and get a progressive manager, just like, say, Palace have done down the years when they got De Boer in. They may end up like doing way worse, but honestly, they are an ugly side. And I will say, I said it at halftime, I think, I'm so glad to have Ange now. I'm so glad that we are the team who are trying to win against these kind of sides who put 11 behind the ball. It was, sure, I think a lot of people might say, oh, not that many shots on target or whatever, because they were just blocking everything. Every single player in their team, other than maybe Bowen up front, is about 6'5", putting their body on the line. Good for them. You worked hard, but they're an ugly side to play. What I will say is I think there were a lot of very positive performances from Spurs today. Even though he got taken off early, I thought Rodrigo Bentancur had one of his best games. You talked about Brennan Johnson, that maybe you would have given him man of the match. You still feel that way?
Yeah, I think that Brennan, for us, he showed a lot of ability going forward, taking his man on. I can think of a few good balls that he put in there. Unlucky that Werner didn't gamble and get on the end of one of them. Yeah. I think that he was our brightest spark. I think he just got yanked off at the end, maybe a little knock that he took.
He got yanked off at the end?
Yeah. He did. Well, yeah, they just...
Did he get pulled off?
Yeah, he did. He did indeed.
All of the above?
All of the above. And, I just think that he was probably our brightest spark. Apart from him, I think Rodrigo was probably the main man in midfield there, getting on the ball. Defensively, Van der Ven was...
colossal.
Almost perfect, as centre-backs go.
It's worth probably saying at that point, there was one moment in the second half where West Ham made a gilt-edged chance for themselves, other than that last kick of the game period, which was where James Maddison did beautifully on the edge of their box to get his body in the way between the ball and their defender. Won a foul, and the ref doesn't give it. They go up the other end. Antonio's in. Van der Ven gets back, and then just kind of gets slightly unbalanced, falls on the floor, and Antonio is actually through on goal, and Vicario makes a big save. Other than that, I don't remember them really. Other than that and corners, I don't remember them making anything.
No, those were their main threats the whole game. Like you said, every time they got a set piece, a corner, you just felt that something could happen, and that's to do with us. That's not to do with them. They're always going to be good at set pieces. Any Moyes side, that's how they set up. We should have tactics in place to nullify their threats, and that's what I can't quite understand. We've seen it again and again, this, corner tactic where they put 3 men on our goalkeeper and then they just fling that ball into the 6-yard box, and occasionally it works for them. Today it not only worked once, but the second one they had as well that could have gone in with Antonio just being offside there from the rebound. Yeah. Another great save from Vic.
It was.
So that's something for me that we need to be looking at. How do we nullify that threat.
Can I just raise something on that point, right? Just going through the starting team tonight, I would argue only Van der Ven and Bentancur are taller than 6'1", 6'2". So maybe it's an element. So look at this, right? Porro, Udogie, both pretty short. Romero's not the tallest. Basuma not the tallest.
Udogie's 6 foot, no?
Oh, is he 6 foot? Okay, but not taller. Not taller. When I'm talking about players, when I look at Soufal, Zuma, Mavropanos, Souček,
they're all huge.
and Antonio.
They're all huge.
So I wonder if when you're looking, I'm just playing devil's advocate a bit. I wonder if they're looking tactically at how to deal with this. They're like, well, Vicario is 6'4", so if the ball comes onto him, it's your job to deal with that. But our tall players, we have to worry a bit more about the people coming from the penalty spot. I mean, frankly, I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't think it worked. We were in danger every corner they got when it was being plopped onto his head. And the delivery against a team like West Ham with Ward, Prowse and Bowen was good enough to do it. And we looked like we were going to concede every time.
Yeah, it's a lethal combination when you stick all those tall players up. And I'm just, you can say, okay, we've got short defenders. But there's got to be a way of nullifying that threat, even if it's telling Vic, you know what, be as physical as you can be.
Yeah.
Just push the players out the way.
I completely agree.
Just push them out the way, get out my way. This is my 6-yard box. I'm going to command this area. Any ball that comes within this region, I'm coming to punch out, regardless if I'm taking you out on the way or you out on the way.
I completely agree,
So that's what I want to see. Another thing, a small thing that I can take from sitting here and doing these games with you, Barnaby, is that final ball. I think that if we can be a bit classier in that department, I'm not talking about winning the ball back. We're great at that. We're great at pressing. We're great at applying the pressure. Yeah. It's the ball before the assist. It's the one ball that will unlock the defence. Let's say that last attack that we had going when Kulusevski wastefully just tries to cross. That's the ball that you need to be perfect. It could only be a 2-yard ball or 3-yard ball. It doesn't have to be a outside of the foot special. It can just sometimes be a ball that takes a few players out of the game.
Can I just say, I completely agree, but I also think it's the decision-making as much as it is the execution of the ball, because so many positions, like, the reason that ball was bad at the end, it's absolutely the wrong decision. Like, it's absolutely the wrong decision. He had players making runs there, runs there. He even could have beaten the man himself, I think, because he squared himself up.
Yep.
So, look, I love Kulusevski. I think he's a great player. I think it was right that he didn't start today. I think Brennan Johnson had a great game. But the reason why some of the fans, I think, get a bit pissed off with him is because sometimes his decision-making is not great. And that was a good example of... And also, I know we said it again, but also that is dangerous decision-making. Because the one thing there, I know we're wanting to score a goal, but whatever you do, don't give it up with 10 seconds to go so that we're absolutely stuffed at the back.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think... when it comes to that final ball and that decision-making, I think it's something that we've got to look at, because I've seen it in other aspects of our game. When we're attacking and we cut back and we're on the edge of the box or we're in an area or a vicinity where you can take a shot, I feel like sometimes we don't take a shot and then we just faff around with it, end up losing the ball, chance is gone.
Yeah.
And then sometimes where you're screaming at the player for taking a shot, they cut it back and then again it goes to pot. So I think that's an area of the game where, for me, if we can, go from being intermediate to an advanced setting, then you're going to see the goals start flooding in.
Yeah.
It's just about making that switch. And we talked about being clinical. We weren't clinical today. On a day where we were, we'd probably take home the 3 points. Unfortunately, today we were just lacking a little bit of fluidity and a little bit of nous in that final third, and unfortunately we just couldn't get over the line today.
Yeah, and I said it in the show, I'll say it again now. You can see why West Ham do so well in Europe, because they're incredibly hard to break down, and they've got threats. I want to talk about Destiny Udogie. I thought he had his best game for a long time. He showed, for me, all of his talents today in terms of, he makes the right decision most of the time in terms of when to give it easy and then when to use his pace to break past a player, when to make a run past Werner, when to come inside. What a talent.
Oh, fantastic performance. The icing on the cake could have been that goal, right? He was so close at the last breath to nearly get the winner. He just not enough force on the shot.
Yes. Oh, what a chance that was. If you didn't see the game, basically we've been calling most of the second half, especially Amir actually, bring on Richarlison so we can get some crosses in the box. Yeah. We get what feels to me like our only aerial cross in the box after about 93 minutes. And West Ham struggle to deal with it, and it falls on the volley to, it's bounced once, but on the volley to Udogie. And if anything, he hits it too well. If it skews a bit off the side of his boot, it goes in the corner, straight down Fabianski's throat.
Unlucky. It would have put the ice on the cake for a fantastic performance. Defensively, he was mopping everything up. Physically, I don't think there's any player that can deal with him physically in the Premier League. He's a real specimen. I do, me being Spurs and, having seen him play last season in Udogie, I know he's got goals in his game. So
yeah, he does, yeah.
I want to see him add those goals for us, I know he's good in the air. He's good with his feet as well. If we get in those positions that we saw him, he can finish. So I want to see even more from Udogie going forward. But defensively, phenomenal today.
Yeah.
Hat goes off to him, and long may the performances continue.
Okay, you got to think Nottingham Forest on Sunday, late kickoff.
Yep.
You got to think that they'll play in a similar way to West Ham. I don't think they've got quite as much in terms of probably keeping us out as West Ham did. What would you look at, just very quickly, what would you look at in terms of changes for that? I think he brought Maddison off early. I think Maddison will start still. I think he's still the key master for us, the kind of quarterback. It is no surprise to me at all that our stats with Van der Ven are so much better than they are when we're without him, because he is just an unbelievable, phenomenal talent. Like, he's one of those ones where I'm like, if I'm Daniel Levy, I'm already giving him an extended contract on more wages.
I'm signing him till 2030, hands down.
Exactly, exactly.
Down.
So what changes? You mentioned earlier Werner wasn't really in the game.
Yeah.
After that, would you put Sonny out wide against Forest and bring Rishi in?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I'm a little bit more old school when it comes to centre forwards. I love a proper centre forward who can do the aerial things, who is a front man, who is a target man. And I think when Richie's in that team, it does offer you. I know it's not exactly the way we play, but it offers you something different. And in terms of hold-up play and stuff like that, I think Richie's been doing phenomenal. When he came on against Luton, he did really well. So I wouldn't mind seeing a Richie, Sonny on the left, and Johnson on the right, for that pace coming in. I think that might get us over the line against Forest.
Okay. Once again, I think another scrap probably on Sunday against Forest. We'll be back here